Hi, and welcome to Castanet's Week in Review. I'm Nich Johansen with your top stories from this past week. It was an election like no other, but hundreds of thousands of people across BC cast their ballot in the 2020 provincial election, sending the NDP to another term, this time with the majority. The preliminary results Saturday night saw the NDP gain 55 seats to the Liberals 29 and the Greens 3, but these numbers are expected to change when more than 500,000 mail-in ballots are counted by mid-November. While John Horgan's snap election appears to have paid off, much of the Okanagan remained a Liberal stronghold. Incumbents Norm Letnick and Ben Stewart, along with newcomer Renee Merrifield, took the 3 central Okanagan ridings for the Liberals, while Dan Ashton is expected to hold on to his seat in Penticton. In the North Okanagan and Thompson ridings, the Liberals are also expected to hold on to their seats. But the NDP is expected to take the Boundary-Similkameen seat after incumbent Liberal MLA Linda Larson chose not to run for re-election. A COVID-19 outbreak at a Kelowna school grew to 11 cases this week, while about 160 members of the school have been required to self-isolate. The outbreak, the only one so far in a BC school, was announced early this week at École de Lens au Sable. While 3 people were initially identified as infected, that had grown to 11 by the end of the week. Dr. Bonnie Henry said they believe the first person was infected by someone visiting from out of town, and the virus has since spread in the school. The outbreak comes as COVID-19 numbers are rising significantly across the province and the rest of the country. An update on the outbreak is expected by Monday. Snowfall records were broken in the Okanagan Friday as snow hammered much of the province's interior. Before noon, Friday became the snowiest day on record in Penticton, breaking the previous record of 10 centimeters. The heavy snow wreaked havoc on the trees in the area that hadn't yet shed their leaves, and fallen trees caused several power outages in the central Okanagan. Temperatures plummeted Saturday night as well, reaching record lows. For the first time in 50 years, Sockeye salmon made their way into Okanagan Lake thanks to a fish ladder installed at the Penticton Dam last year.
We got over 30 tagged and marked up in Okanagan Lake, and I have a series of receivers all the way up to Vernon, so I'll be able to track them if they reach that far. Having 100 sockeye in there is pretty significant, both for science and the symbolism behind it.
And a man was driving near 100 Mile House Wednesday when he spotted what he thought was a dead bald eagle on the road. Mark Rice stopped and picked up the eagle with plans to take it to BC Conservation, but he was in for a surprise.
I'm coming down into 100 Mile and I hear a noise and I look back and I got the bald eagle staring at me. He wasn't really trying to move too much because I guess he was still hurt. And then I took him down. And then I tried to ring the police station door and said, "Hey, I got this eagle in the van." I said, "Can you call a conservation officer?" The eagle was pretty good. And until we put him in the dog cage, then he finally stood up and made a little bit of noise and was like, "Oh, what am I doing in here?"
That's it for this week's Week in Review. For Castanet News, I'm Nich Johansen.